The film begins in 2000, where an American scientist, working for the military, instructs his Korean assistant to pour 200 bottles of toxic chemicals into the drain. He seems completely unconcerned about the impact on the river. Years later, people begin to notice strange things in the river. Two fishermen pick up a fish in a cup and notice it doesn't look right. It looks like a mutated, slimy creature. When one of them tries to touch it, it bites him with its tongue, knocks the cup from his hand, and quickly returns to the water. The scene shifts to 2006. On a bridge, a businessman contemplates suicide and, before jumping, sees a large object moving underwater. In the afternoon, Gang-woo falls asleep inside his father's snack stall near the river. A homeless boy named Si tries to steal some food, but his brother Sejin takes him away. The stall owner, Bong, wakes his son and tells him to get to work. Just then, Gang-woo sees his daughter, Yoon-seo, returning from school. Yoon-seo is furious because Gang-woo didn't attend the parents, meeting himself and sent his drunk uncle. She's been ignoring her father's calls because she has an old phone with poor network connectivity and is embarrassed to take it out in public. Gang-woo and Yoon-seo then run inside the stall, where Gang-woo discovers a hidden compartment in which he's been saving money to buy his daughter a new phone. He turns on the TV and sees a body found in the Han River, half of it missing. But he changes the channel to Gang-woo's sister. He watches Namju participate in an archery tournament. Just then, Bong arrives and sends Gang-woo to tend to the complaining customers with some free snacks. Gang-woo finds them staring at a strange object hanging beneath a bridge. The object moves and a terrifying monster emerges, leaping into the water. Curious, Gang-woo throws a beer can, which the monster catches with its tentacles and swallows whole. Excited, the crowd begins throwing all kinds of food into the river, but the creature disappears. Just as everyone is about to leave, the same monster suddenly surfaces and races after the crowd. It throws people up and starts hitting them with its terrifying limbs. People try to run for their lives, but the monster drags them away and starts killing them. Some people hide inside a container, and the monster follows them inside, trapping them inside. Tourists, Donald and Gang-woo, run to the other side of the container and open the door so the survivors can escape. The monster also emerges and continues its killing spree. Donald throws a floor tile, but it has no effect on it. Then Donald and Gang-woo together throw a heavy signpost at the monster, but it still has no effect. The monster, holding a man by the mangle, leaps at Donald and injures him. Gang-woo runs and picks up the signpost, this time throwing it at the monster's sensitive tail, finally injuring it. Some of the monster's blood also drips onto Gang-woo's face. When Yoon-seo exits the stall, Gang-woo grabs her hand and runs with the crowd. In the chaos, Gang-woo falls and loses his daughter's hand. In his panic, he continues running, holding another girl's hand. But looking back, he realizes it was the wrong girl. He looks back and sees the monster dragging Yoon-seo towards the river. Gang-woo jumps in as well and looks over to the side to see the monster spit out a human, take Yoon-seo in his place, and then disappear into the water. Shortly after, the police and military surround the area. Gang-woo and Bong have to leave the stall, taking Gang-woo and the coin box with them. The river area is cordoned off, and a funeral is held for all the victims. Namju brings her bronze medal and offers to honor her deceased husband. She cries for her niece. The third brother, Nam, the only college-educated member of the family, arrives, but is currently unemployed because he was once an activist. The entire family collapses to the ground and begins to cry. Reporters rush to their side, taking photos and videos. Nam explains that he heard Gang-woo grabbed the wrong hand and taunts his brother for the blunder. This leads to a fight between the two, forcing the authorities to intervene. At this moment, men in camouflage suits enter the room, and a strange smoke begins to billow. An agent asks if anyone touched the creature. Gang-woo explains that its blood fell on his face. Hearing this, the team drags him away in a special bag. Just then, the news begins to cover the incident extensively. Donald was a U.S. Army sergeant and lost an arm, so he was sent to a U.S. Army hospital. Military doctors discover that body parts that came into contact with the creature are exhibiting strange reactions, and they attribute this to an unknown virus. The U.S. military sends a sample to the CDC, and they confirm that the river creature is the virus's host. Now, only special forces trained in biological warfare are allowed near the river. Fumigation units are clearing the river area with smoke, All those present at the scene and at the funeral are being sent to the hospital, quarantined and tested. In the evening, Gang-woo is scratching his bag when his phone rings. He is shocked to hear it, as it's from Yoon-seo. She is asking for help and says she's in the sewers. But before he can say anything else, the call is disconnected. 2 fumigation agents stop their truck near the river because they notice something. Suddenly, the monster jumps out, knocks one of the agents down, and climbs onto the truck. A few minutes later, the creature throws the agents into a sewer where it had stored several bodies to eat later. After the monster leaves, Yoon-seo emerges from a hole where she had been hiding. She tries to wake the agent, but he's already dead. She searches his pocket for a thread, but that doesn't work. At the hospital, Gang-woo's family tries to convince a police officer that Yoon-seo is still alive. But the police officer doesn't believe them and says Gang-woo must have just dreamt. To prove his point, Gang-woo shows a moment on his phone where he saw the monster spit out a body, which could mean Yoon-seo is still alive. However, the police officer insists that Gang-woo is just hallucinating and leaves. Bong tries to bribe him, but he refuses. A short while later, the family sneaks out of the hospital and blends into the corridors with other patients. A nurse recognizes Gang-woo's disheveled hair and calls out to him, prompting the entire family to rush over, pushing everyone in their way. Once in the elevator, they change into their normal clothes, and Bong confirms over the phone that their car has arrived. In the parking lot, a mysterious driver in a van picks them up. Namju is left behind, seemingly about to be dropped off. But the driver, evading the pursuing car, turns around and picks her up as well. A policeman also tries to get into the van, but Gang-woo pushes him off. A short time later, they arrive at a warehouse outside the city. It's revealed that Bong had hired some criminals to get the family out of the hospital and get supplies that would be useful in finding Yoon-seo. The final bill is much higher than expected, and the criminals refuse to take her jewelry. Instead, they take her credit card. Inside the van, the 3 siblings watch the news and realize they've been declared wanted fugitives. The family leaves in a fumigation truck arranged by the criminals, which contains 2 hazmat suits, some weapons, and a sewer map. Gang-woo and Bong put on the suits, while Nam and Namju hide under a blanket. The manager becomes suspicious of the security check, because the company's name was added at the last minute. Bong throws him a bag as a bribe, and the manager opens it to find the same box of coins. The family then follows the map and heads towards the sewers to find Yoon-seo. Gang-woo occasionally runs behind the truck to keep himself clean for his daughter. After a few hours of searching, they spot something moving in the darkness. Something wet drips on Namju's shoulder, so they open fire. But when they look up, they discover it was just a leak. The liquid was actually Seo's urine, who was sneaking around with his brother Seo-jin. The 2 brothers slowly approach a snack stall and grab a large amount of food. Seo tries to take money, but Seo-jin stops him, explaining that taking money is theft. Filling their bags, the 2 are about to leave when a monster spots them. They both run, but the creature is faster and blocks their path. A little while later, the family arrives at a snack stall and shares dinner as if Yoon-seo is sitting with them, just to keep their spirits up. The real Yoon-seo is trying to collect water from a leak. When she hears Munser's voice, she pretends to faint and watches as he knocks the 2 brothers down and walks away. Andaz keeps asking about Namju. Nam explains that they were separated in the sewers and he doesn't know where Namju is. The password written on the desk doesn't work. Gawara then says he's looking for the password in the manager's office. In reality, he's just pretending. All his friends are hiding there to capture Nam for the reward. Meanwhile, Nam finds another password note, and this time, the system unlocks. He finally finds Yoon-seo's location. As he's marking it on the map, he realizes everyone in the office is leaving to capture him. Nam inserts a clip into a plug and inserts it into the socket. A short circuit occurs, plunging the entire room into darkness. The team panics and searches for him in the darkness. But when the lights come back on, Nam has already fled. Hearing the police outside, he jumps off a bridge. The fall leaves him in pain, and he faints after texting Yoon-seo's location to Namju under the bridge. Meanwhile, Namju is still searching for Yoon-seo. She falls asleep in the bridge beams, hiding in the water to avoid detection, and survives by stealing food from the family store. She charges her phone and sees a message from her brother. Namju immediately runs to the bridge and calls Gang-do, telling him everything. Unfortunately, the monster finds her and hits her hard before she can shoot the arrow, causing her to fall into a very narrow sewer. Namju faints and the creature can't reach her, so he leaves. In the lab, Gangdu's hope is rekindled and he tries to escape. But the medical team catches him and injects him with a sedative. An hour passes, but he still doesn't lose consciousness. As the needle penetrates his skin, Gangdu screams in pain, causing an American doctor to stop the procedure. With the help of a bilingual medic, Gangdu explains his daughter's case and how no one believed him. The American doctor feigns interest, but is actually just assessing Gangdu's mental state.
He decides the virus is causing dementia-like symptoms.
So a sample must be taken from his head. The Korean doctor finds this too extreme, so the American doctor takes him aside and explains the truth. Donald died of shock during the operation, and no virus was found in his skull. The quarantined individuals also tested negative, so it's quite possible the virus isn't present anyway. Gangdu's English isn't perfect, but he understands the basic no virus at all and demands answers. The doctors immediately take him to the operating room, where a sample is taken from his brain. In the sewers, Joon takes off the clothes from both bodies, ties them together, and attaches a cop's baton to the end. With Seo's help, she throws the rope up and attaches it to the sewer grill. But now the rope is out of reach. Just then, the monster returns. So the two children hide in a hole and watch as it overturns a large pile of human bones, including a beer can. It then descends to eat another human, but hears the children's faint cries. It tries to insert its mouth into the hole, but the children retreat until they escape its grasp. After the operation, Gangdu reveals himself in a wet state. When a doctor takes a blood sample, Gangdu seizes the opportunity and uses the needle as a weapon. He threatens to spray the virus-infected blood on them. But the doctors retreat in fear and let him escape. The lab is located in a container outside the city, while the soldiers are having lunch. Using the doctor as a shield, Gangdu kicks tables to the ground and escapes in the ambulance. Nam regains consciousness under a bridge and discovers that a tramp saved his life. He asks the tramp for the Wonhyo Bridge. He asks for directions and takes empty beer bottles from him in exchange for money. Trump smashes one of the bottles on Nam's head, saying that money can't buy everything, but agrees to be his guide. The two take a cab and, during the journey, make Molotov bombs from the empty bottles. People are gathering on the streets to protest against Agent Yellow, which will be released on the Vanyu Bridge. Yoon-seo emerges from the hole and sees that the monster is asleep. She throws a can to check if the creature will react. Then she runs and jumps on the monster's body to reach the rope. She grabs the rope, but her relief is short-lived, as the monster pulls her back down with its tentacles. The creature appears to still be asleep, possibly in its sleep. Eun-seo gives it a slight shake, which wakes the creature. The monster immediately jumps on both children. A few minutes later, Gangdu finds the correct sewer and breaks down, leaving behind a pile of bones. Anticipating the worst, he climbs down Yoon-seo's rope and sees the name tag on his jacket. Just then, Monster arrives, but luckily he doesn't see Gangdu and moves on. Meanwhile, Namju regains consciousness, climbs out of the sewer, and sees the creature approaching her. She prepares her bow, but Gangdu's panic breaks her concentration. A large crowd is protesting against Agent Yellow on the shore. The shirts carry a demand for Gangdu's freedom. The protesters are surrounded by police and refuse to disperse. But as soon as the monster appears, everyone panics. The police open fire and Gangdu appears on the bridge, pleading with everyone to stop shooting because his daughter is there. He jumps into the water, and at the same time, the drone releases Agent Yellow, filling the area with toxic fumes. The protesters are devastated. The creature also begins to fall ill, and another cop tries to attack it, but Gangdu stops him. As the monster writhes on the ground in pain, Gangdu seizes the opportunity and puts his hand in its mouth and grabs a human hand. He immediately pulls out the two children, who unfortunately are dead. The drone continues to spray Agent Yellow. Mask agents record everything, and people are falling ill everywhere.
The police also gather around the three siblings, Yoon-seo and Cry.
Gangdu's patience breaks, and he breaks a sign pole and attacks the monster, causing it to bleed. The creature pushes him away. Nam then begins throwing his Molotov bombs, forcing the creature to flee the fire. Finally, it gets trapped under a bridge and Tramp pours gasoline on it. Nam tries to throw his last bomb, but it slips from his grasp and breaks near him. Namju steps in, igniting an arrow and shooting it directly into the monster's eye, setting the creature ablaze. Before the monster can escape into the water, Gangdu shoves the pole into its mouth, killing it permanently. Later, Gangdu checks on Seo to see if he was Yoon-seo's friend. Discovering that the child is alive, Gangdu takes him out of the toxic zone. A few weeks later, Gangdu has regained his composure. He now runs a snack stall and takes care of C. One night, during dinner, U.S. authorities appear on TV, confirming that there was no virus.
But Gangdu and Seohyo turn off the TV so they can eat their dinner in peace.
If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon to receive more such videos. Thanks for watching.